And let's see, this one was also commissioned. It's a baptismal font that was commissioned for the First Presbyterian Church in Olney, Illinois. And this family, 2 sons and a daughter, wanted to do something in their father's memory. And they came from this little town, and they had basically a plastic tub to use as their baptismal font. And so they wanted something beautiful. And so I did something that had trees to represent the congregation, and it had water for the baptism, and it has day and night images for the passage of time. And this one was also a baptismal font, but it was for Texas Children's Hospital in Houston. And it's a small bowl that can be taken to the bedside in the ICU unit, where sometimes there are very difficult situations for families. And so I wanted to make something beautiful that these chaplains could use when they were doing a baptism. So then I'll show you a few more pieces. I do a lot of things about dancing, and so I have bowls about dancing. Here's one, and you can sort of see how the glass distorts the figures. Another dancers. And I've been doing almost like little sculptures. They're on rotating bases, so these dancers can dance. And this is my garden. And I have dancers on a fence that my landscaper did that, using my drawings. So if you come to my house in the spring and summer, I do salons in my house. I have a sign-up book if you'd like to sign up. And then you can see some of these things in person. And just some various other works. I do a lot of things with flowers, where you kind of look into a bowl and see the flowers. I have one little tiny example of that here. Birthday party. And I do a number of commissions. This one was for a 75th birthday. This was the 50th anniversary. This is another 50th anniversary. Let me just stop for a minute, and then I'm going to do an abbreviated reading of my book. So let me just stop to see if you have any questions, comments. This book actually came out in 2010, and it won a Midwest Book Award and an Independent Publishers Gold Award. So, and it's in its third printing now. It really combines my own experience of growing older with my background as a gerontologist and my art, and that's why I put it together. I'm venturing into outer space toward an alien universe, the galaxy of the old ones. My baggage is stuffed with younger versions of myself. Am I ready for this journey? When I was younger, I was an expert on aging. I directed studies and wrote books and articles. I won awards. I lectured to students who had no notion that growing old had anything to do with them. Then all at once, I begin to notice a crease over my left eyebrow, gray strands of hair. Why am I surprised? In my 50s, with fibroid creatures growing inside my uterus, I have a hysterectomy. The surgeon says they are like grapefruits, or maybe large pears or apples. So this has become the fruit of my womb. Abruptly, I enter woman pause. At night, I ask my love, is it warm here or is was it me? Was it just yesterday when I was a young mother? I read stories to my baby before he knew what words were. I loved to kiss his soft skin and curly feet. Now I'm a grandmother, even more delicious. I board a crowded bus one day and say to myself, if someone gets up and offers me a seat, then I'll really know I'm old. At just that moment, this really happened, and a while ago, at just that moment, a young woman jumps up, insisting I take her seat. And just a few years ago, my husband and I were in London on the tube, and these people jumped up and gave us their seats on the subway, and both of us together said, she wrote a book about that. My mother-in-law lives in a senior housing apartment building. When I go to visit her, a stranger asks me, are you new here? I'm nonplussed. Everyone here is 80 or 90 or 100 years old. Inside myself, I'm a young girl with double ponytails. I'm a teenage girl dancing in a red silk dress. I am still a young woman full of dreams. I am. Sometimes younger people seem to regard mature women like me as odd specimens of a different species. Or are we invisible, transparent as glass? It's beginning now, the breakdown of movable parts, and this is another version of that. Some mornings, I study my face in the mirror. Expressions of surprise or consternation are lodged on my forehead and around my chin. I have nothing good to say about these thick and heavy creases. But the crinkles above my lips remind me of a cat's whiskers, and the slender pleats near my eyes are soft and tender. I rather like these fine, feathery wrinkles. Someday, with luck, my friends and I will be very old women with road map faces. People will read our faces and know where they're going. Sleep has become elusive. It's 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. There's a whole village of us, women about my age, wakeful through the night. Together, we are a sisterhood of sleeplessness. I've begun losing words. Names of people and places and ordinary words float around and away. I'm reluctant to make introductions. In the middle of a sentence, I might forget the name of a good friend. I'm afraid this could be the beginning of the unraveling of my mind. Someday, if my mind wanders off forever, and my skin becomes like paper, and my body turns feeble and frail, I hope there will be kind hands to dress and care for me. But at least for now, I still have all my marbles. You do notice that some of those marbles are starting to roll away. I own a richness of years, layers upon layers. Even the myriad moments that have slipped from memory are still mine, incorporated into my cells, into my soul. You know, there are lots of bad things that happen to us about when we're aging. You know, Betty Davis is credited as saying, old age is not for sissies. So I don't want to pretty it, but there are also good things that happen as we get older. And I do think that as we get older, we have a kind of richness to who we are. We have all these experiences. It doesn't matter if we can't remember them all. They've made us who we are. And if our lives are rich, then so are we in who we are. I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about a richness of us as people. When I was 15, I used to think, oh, I know so much. And now at age 71, I know I don't know so much. But I know things in a different way than I did when I was 15. And there's something really wonderful about being older. There's research that says if you use your brain that you'll grow dendrites. So I figure I'm really, really using my brain. So I'm regenerating my brain, growing dendrites. So I've got them coming out of my head. Okay, all right, very good. I launched a new life as an artist. I'm giving rebirth to myself. Luminous colors spill out of me. I bear visions, images, art. I wear baggy clothes with reckless colors and paint stains. My long silver hair flies in the wind. I talk to myself and whisper secrets to my dog. And this is my dog, Toby. My dog, Toby, keeps me healthy because Toby always wants to walk. I have to walk him. So that's my little Toby. I construct a list of family members and friends, women and some men too, who have gone before me on this journey. People I admire, and this is one was my Aunt Hannah. When she was 79, she'd gone through a very hard time because her husband had a stroke and he was this very brilliant man, but then he couldn't speak for about 5 years, and then he died. And she was visiting her son in Arizona, and he teased her. He said, "You want to go on a hot air balloon ride?" And she said, "When?" And she did. And now she's 91, and she's still going strong. So she's one of my models. And there are others, like my friend Ruth, who is a very famous poet, and she published her first novel when she was 86. And my father-in-law, who at age 90 was studying Talmud, and he was growing tomatoes. He lived in senior housing in Sarasota, Florida, and he had 20 tomato plants. And he had like over 800 tomatoes that were produced from these plants. And he gave tomatoes to everybody in their community. There were like 250 apartments. Everybody in the community except one man he didn't like. I dance in their footsteps. I'm in transition, new at being old. Gingerly, I join the world of older women. We are in cities, towns, and villages all around the earth. 100 million of us and more. And the first image was of an alien planet. You know, how can I be part of this? But this is the earth, and I'm part of something that's much larger than myself. What will I be as I grow old and older? Who will I be? I'm just coming of age.